So in this video I will show you how to make guanciale at home. First of all, you need salt and curing salt, then a pork cheek with a nice layer of fat on it, and then you can also use some herbs. They are optional. I'm using sage and thyme. You can find the whole recipe below in the description. I would say, yeah, let's start. First of all, we need to weigh the guanciale because this is important because the salt and the curing salt will be calculated by the weight. So write it down and then you can calculate how much salt you need. You need 2.75% of normal salt and then 0.25% of cure number 2. So if we assume we have 1 kilogram of pork cheek, you need 27.5 grams of salt and 2.5 grams of cure number 2. The next step is to rub the pork cheek with the salt and cure mixture. Make sure that you distribute it evenly and get it in from both sides. The cuts which you can see on my cut of pork cheek shouldn't be there. It's just that my butcher already had them in and I told them, okay, it's fine. But typically, yeah, those are not there. Yeah, then get it in and make sure you get all the salt on the pork cheek. If something is not sticking, you can then put it into the bag in the next step, but make sure that all the salt is in the bag. So speaking about the bag, next thing, put the pork cheek and all the salt, as I said, into a vacuum bag. You can also use a resealable Ziploc, but with vacuum it's much easier. Get it into a machine and vacuum it. And then once it's sealed, you can get it out and put it into your refrigerator for around 5 days. Depending how big your piece of meat is, it takes longer. Make sure that you turn it every other day so the salt is evenly distributed. Now my meat is cured and I have here a mixture of spices. I have a bit of pepper and thyme and sage, as I said. Again, you can be very playful about this. You can just try out what tastes you. Also have the first time like my mixture and then tune it to your taste. This is completely up to you. Next step, then I need to grind it into a fine powder because this mixture needs to stick on the pork cheek again. So I get it into a spice grinder, pulse it a few times, and yeah, the aroma smells very, very nice. And now I get it out, and as you can see, it's now a fine powder which I can distribute onto the pork cheek. Speaking of the pork cheek, get it out of the refrigerator, get it out of your vacuum bag, and as you can see, the consistency is much stronger now. It firmed up a bit. If it's too wet, you can also dry it up a bit, but for me it also worked. There are no bad spots, and so now I can get my mixture onto it. Just rub it in again as we did with the salt in the first step from both sides. Just make sure that it's evenly coated. And then it's time to wrap it into cheesecloth. Yes, I know guanciale is traditionally not like rolled, but for me it's easier to hang it in the refrigerator, which I will do, which is the easy method. If you want to have it in the traditional form, you do not need to roll the pork cheek, but for me, as I said, it's easier. I just have a small refrigerator. Tie it up with a butcher knot, and then make sure that you have something at the top where you can hang it. And then the next step again is to weigh it and write the weight down. This is important because in the next step we will dry it out and it needs to lose around like 35% of the weight, and then we know it is done. So yeah, write down the weight and make sure you don't miss the paper because we will need it in a few weeks. And now you can hang it. There are like different methods, but I'm just hanging this now into my refrigerator. It also works. As you can see, it just hangs there in the back of it. It is like a very basic method of dry curing, and yeah, I can tell you that it works. The only thing what you need to do now is to let it hang for a few weeks and always have a look at like what the weight is. And then once we achieve like 35% weight loss, then we weigh it again and see, hey, that works out. And now it's time to unwrap it and check it out. As you can see, the herbs are very nice in there. Look for bad spots. There are no bad spots there, no mold. So let's cut it up in the middle. Oh, look at that color. You can also smell it. It's very nice. As I said, traditionally it's not rolled, it looks more like a pancetta, but this is guanciale. And now it's time to actually cut it and fry it up a bit. As you can see, I fried it up a bit like bacon. For me, this is personally the way I love to eat it. You can also do pasta with it. There are different recipes, but I like to get it in chunks and then fry it up like bacon. And the taste, wow, yes. It's so amazing, I need to dance. Actually, guys, it's worth the wait. Just try it out. It's super easy. Yeah, nothing more to say. The recipe, as always, in the description below. And yeah, like I'm out of words. Like, try it out. Leave me a comment if you liked it, and also subscribe to the channel if you want more sausage videos. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye bye.